The next speaker is Colonel Chandana Wickramasinghe. He will be speaking on reforming security sector to inculcate professionalism and integrated security policy for Sri Lanka. The Colonel joined the Army in 1989. He has Masters in International Studies from University of Colombo. He is currently a MPhil candidate. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, distinguished audience, peer presenters, undergraduates. It is indeed my happiness to present the paper with regard to the third line of the Homeland Security. And my presentation will be unfold in following sequence for easy assimilation and understanding. And during the course of 10 minutes or so, I will try to unfold this presentation on how importance of our integration, the reform in security sector to inculcate professionalism and integrate security policy for Sri Lanka. So I would like to bring your kind notice on this. In the theme of the KDU IRC 2015, Inculcate Professionalism for National Development. I was in the steering team in that, I found that the security, when it says the security into our theme, how were different the other audience or the other members were looked at upon, because of the security beliefs that it's involved with the military. But for my beliefs and my research findings and my literature, always trying to come up to find out how Sri Lankan security reform should be on following sectors. And our sector falls upon the internal threat should be analyzed against the external threat, and in the norms of national, global and human context. In this, reforming security sector in inculcating professionalism and integrated professional policy of Sri Lanka will encompass for what we have now. We Sri Lanka eradicate terrorism after brutal menace of terrorism, which is being hampered our progress for almost 3 decades. And if you go back to the internal conflict, I quote, internal conflict, significant hardship for entire population without any differences to any ethnicities or any religions in this Sri Lankan island. So, if you take, this is the benchmark for our history in Sri Lankan history, over 3,000 years written or documented history of this island nation. For now, with this 18th May 2009 from onwards, we are moving towards different. In the history, our Sri Lankan history says these are the chronological timeline what we have been faced on some of the aggression, invasion, external influence to our country. This denotes our stability was hampered in numerous occasions, numerous times. Hardships from our culture, although enriched with many cultural influence, but our society was being hampered on this because of this. Because Sri Lanka, after independence, we have been able to experience of somebody else one. Because if you take, majority of influence invasions came from northwestern frontier, from the South Indian. So therefore, in our study says that over 1,000 years of ancient kingdoms of Anuradhapura has to be shift or unfold from place to place in the considering our security needed. This has been falls into many aspects of it. We'll see in the further what I want to tell now. 2009, during the conflict period, our Sri Lankan society had much more aspirations to be the country in the prosperity. But due to the aspirations are so much, when those aspirations could not be met, there should be, as per the theory in the theory of revolution by Raymond Tanter's department, I could like to quote, when the aspirations are much, if they not been met, there is a gap. That gap will be create a change of environment or a political arena in the country. This is the normal phenomena in theory of revolution as per the literature review. And Sri Lanka is being influenced to a great extent, although we are being culturally, economically, legal, political, environment, religion, security, social and technology. I can put much more into this. However, there are enormous studies has been carried out to what influences for this island nation is being carried. Although, what the 2012 census categorically shows our dispersion of this ethnicity. You may by seeing the maps in the left hand side and right hand side, ethnicities and religion, how Sri Lankans are being. Much of the Sri Lankan, from my experience, these people are, except in the some of the areas, much more influenced and mixed among the nation, entire cities and things. And if you take the majoritism in the what? Others also living in the similar manner, expecting dignified and democratic values and experience, because of we are also experiencing a democracy, one of the best democracies from the ancient time, the modern parliamentary election system. Right. Why I want to tell the reforming sector? I believe during the Cold War, we were influenced with ethnic problem or the internal conflict. That time, Sri Lanka, after the post-Cold War effect, we were able to defeat, and especially this is being affected in the post-9/11 effect, the terrorist attack on New York, Twin Tower. And these are the, for my understanding, and the Cold War, post-Cold War era, and the post-18th May 2009 are benchmark areas in Sri Lankan's history or in even the global effect. Any strategic studies, it's called in the political, strategic, operational and tactical level. These are encompassed with right around linkage within one or two other. So these decisions, these analysis, the strategies and politics, these will come into different connotics. It could be, if you say the black color, if our country aligns with some of the effects in the other side, in the right hand side, these are the transnational threat, transnational cooperation, emerging global security problems, integration of states, duplication of states, or influence of advanced technology. Could be differ from either way. If you alliance with somebody, and if you are not being non-alliance, are two different. However, this island nation are being practiced non-aligned system since independence. This is a specialty in Sri Lankan island nation. The complexities of security environment, South Asia and Indian Ocean, that is also much of influence to Sri Lanka. That emergence of mini Cold War, I think everybody knows what a Cold War in the South Asia. Emergence of subnational actors, some of the like is extremism of religious, ethnicity likewise, things can be talked more and more. Increasing Indian Ocean maritime domain and importance of international trade security. I would like to quote yesterday's US Admiral says that the lifeline of the world is the Indian Ocean in yesterday. That is also influence to Sri Lankan shaping in geographically, geopolitically towards attaining our prosperity and increasing power plays, superpowers in Indian Ocean. There are enough things can be talked, although the time will not be providing us to think. Change of security environment in Sri Lanka. End of 3 decades internal conflict. That change the national objective. Earlier, entire Sri Lanka wants to defeat terrorism. Now, from 2009 onwards, entire nation looking upon a very prosperity, because we are being one of the first nations in 21st century of defeating totally terrorism from the soil of our nation. Yesterday we learned about the Kesman plan and the 20th century, how Malaya have been able to defeat in that time. I think these are two significance in the history to study from the Kesman to Sri Lankan conflict, how defeating terrorism, although the ideology not be able to easily change. Even in the, if you take the Kesman one, it has gone up to 1991 to finish it, and seen that there is no system of external one. As previous successor, my presenters say that 5 to 10 years is a strategic important for us to maintain the tempo of this one to fill in. Otherwise, there may be issues come up in the different angles. As he says, Sri Lankan international economic activities. We are being bonded with many treaties, many other systems in the World Organization, World Banks and similar. Deployment of security Sri Lankan forces. It is very important us to understand what are the vital area our security forces in the name of the nation to protect our entire the country. The Sri Lankan security forces or the armed forces not belongs to one set of people or a religious ethnicity. This belongs to everybody, as yesterday's we learned on the previous session. Geopolitical relations with neighbors. It is very important since we are practicing non-aligned policies. We are much enriched to balance and our friendly ties with the neighboring countries. Right. I would like to quote the one of the interesting literature survey in the corporate security. These 4 rings is one thing, the new dimension of how individual security is influenced to collective security and collective security to collective defense and promoting stability. This is a wonderful philosophy is being Richard coined and the corporation security by the author called George C. Marshall, and he has been articulated that this is a new phenomena or the new concept of small states like us, promising states like us to follow from individual to collective and collective to defense and promoting security for our nations. Right. I believe, and it's self-explanatory in time, I would like to come up. The model what I want to show about the successful system which is USA following after 9/11. They believed in imagination, integration and improvisation to feel. They follow in 5 homeland security mission, prevent terrorism and enhancing security.
Please wind up, sir.
And enforcing immigration laws, safeguard and secure cyber ensure resilience and disasters. This is the model I want to come up, and these are the suggestions from me. The Sri Lankan security, reforming security should be aligned with, similar to that, with the following national security agencies, human security and global security agencies, similar to US model. And in that, the Sri Lankan system, since we are following the executive system of presidency, along with the prime minister and cabinet system, should be encompassed with that human security one concept, because it's so much important. And the conceptualizing, thinking of common objective, financing and common objective, operationalizing as a common objective, minimizing and duplicity and flexibility of focus and effective leadership is one of the most important facts of us not believing only the military as a cohesive effort to new system of security system. Sir, I think with the time it's being finishing, thank you very much for giving this wonderful opportunity to express my views on my research, ongoing research. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Colonel Wickramasinghe.